Hi, everybody. This is Bart Sharp from Becoming Quantum Conscious on United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Public Radio at the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, or that's where we're broadcasted out of. But I am in Austin, Texas, but also the call signs of UPRN and UFO Paranormal Radio Network is 107.7 and 105.3. We're all a little jumbled. And once again, I must have missed the 30-second countdown. I don't know what my relationship with the countdown is, but it's not working. We're in beautiful Austin, Texas, as myself is, and my guest today, Ricardo Gonzales. And just to give you a little bit about Ricardo, I've known Ricardo for, a long time because we're both Austinites and we've done a
Yes,
lot of work together.
yes,
One of the more charitable people I have met in my experience of working the metaphysical field out of Austin, Texas. Ricardo is a master curandero, but he's also a psychic, a very good reader. He's a teacher of various levels. And right now, and for the last several years, he's been the owner and president of the Texas School of Curanderism. I didn't get that right. Curanderismo.
yes.
Uh,
Curanderismo.
yes,
Yes,
we'll get that right. And he holds a bachelor's degree in metaphysical science. He's been in the metaphysical community for 36 years. He's been one of those people that's been a psychic all of his life, the weird kid that sees ghosts in his house and seeing them behind his father and telling dad, wait, you
right.
got somebody strange behind you.
I know. And that turns around and goes, Who? Who? What are
Who?
you talking about?
Who? But what you have to understand with the Hispanic culture is they're more accepting of that type of stuff and recognize that that's a way of life and it's a way of curandesmo. But Ricardo is involved in many things from the metaphysical community for Central Texas, such as a metaphysical instructor, curandero, psychic medium, master of Reiki, event producer, and mentors teachers of those who want to learn modalities in the metaphysical world, which you've been doing ever since I've known you
Yes,
12,
yes,
15 years ago.
yes.
And you can get contact with Ricardo at his website called findingyourlifepath.com. And welcome to the show, Ricardo.
Well, thank you very much, Bart. I hope you're doing good, and I hope all your guests are doing well. I know we're going to have a very good conversation of what the topic is today, and that's talking about curanderismo, which I think is a great thing that we need to talk about.
Indeed. And so, can you just, not everybody knows what Curanderismo is. So, can you just begin by giving
What it
everybody?
is. Sure, I could give you a little bit of history. Curanderismo, or basically it's a Spanish for cure. And what it actually is, it's a modality that's been going on for thousands of years. It did start in the actual Latin community, mostly in Mexico. And what it basically was is that there was a group of people that would get ill, sick as a common cold, or maybe the flu, or there would be something along that way. These people needed medical help. So it took them about a good 4, 5, 6 hours to travel from the middle of nowhere to go to a local city or local community to get the help. But as time progresses, it never really did occur. So they had to find modalities in order for them to get themselves taken care of or cure, cura. And there was a group of men and women who would try to find out ways that they can actually do to get these ailments or this healing done. As time progressed, people started going like, well, there's got to be something that we got to do on ourselves or at our homes without traveling 2, 3 days for a medical doctor. So there was a community of people that came together and they started learning different things that they can pull from their yards or maybe from candle works or maybe spiritual work that they can actually cure whatever needed to be cured. Now, as time progressed, the development of this kind of cure, cura, was actually taking place. Because people knew that there was natural ways of taking care of a human body instead of actually going and traveling somewhere in order for them to get that process happen. As we move forward, as the Latin community grasped it, whether you lived in Spain or you lived in Mexico, or maybe you lived in Brazil or Chile, they all came with these methodologies of really curing what needed to be taken care of, such as the common cold. Of course, we know very well that it can be taken care of naturally. But these curanderos and curanderas would actually try different methods in order for them to cure the common cold. That's including a flu, or sometimes a little bit more worse, like a broken leg or a broken arm. So these people, the society came together and they knew very well that they had something in their backyard, their kitchen, maybe their home, maybe in their bedroom that they could put together to actually help and heal that person. Heal, cura, take care of. So these methodologies have traveled from generation to generation, and they have learned and they have become more developed, more cured, more whatever the situation is. And this is where these methods have come through. Nowadays, the actual modern day curandero or curandera, the curer, the spiritual curer, puts a different twist on different things. They will put in spirituality, maybe some kind of spell, or maybe there's something they could grab from their kitchen or their yard or their garden that actually can help the individual. We have learned that about 95% of the actual healing that an individual has is spiritual encounter. So we know a very good curandero and curandera will actually tie in those spirits or whatever the situation to really cure the problem. And yes, there's different things that we do in different situations for us to get that taken care of for the person. So even though you might think of, or sometimes people understand, why do you light a white candle? We understand that as you have to cure the physical body, you also have to cure the spiritual body. And that's why we find that it's an important of candles. Candles have been around for thousands of years, and many religion rites and many people have grasped that kind of concept,
So
and that
so
concept
so
has been
so
taken care of.
so the white candle holds the energy of spirit to evolve, like it becomes an entity in itself of transformation, but
Correct.
also the curandero energy and the person that is the patient, so to speak, holds a part of that embodiment that's held in the candle.
That's correct. So what we do is we light the white candle because the white candle will take up things taken care of on the spiritual level. But what we'll also do is take the negativity from the body, because we believe that if you are ill or there's something wrong with you, it's more of a negative vibration that is attacking your physical body. But we feel that it's a mental spiritual situation that will cure that problem, because as a
Mhm.
curandero or curandero, we believe that you can get cured if you include spirituality or something from the actual garden or something from the kitchen or in spirit that will actually help to cure that physical body. Like, let me give you a quick example.
Yes.
If your audience or yourself or somebody around you has a problem with their right shoulder, a lot of people have shoulder problems. And what we believe in curanderismo, that means that you're carrying too much problems. It has nothing to do with the physical body. The physical body is the monitoring telling you, hey, hey, you got a problem. Take care of the problem. So the physical body tells you that you got to take care of that situation or that problem. As curanderos and curanderas, we identify that. So we bring a methodology in so we can actually heal your shoulder problem. And in reality, it's the too much problems that you're carrying on.
Yeah, how many mothers, I mean, thinking about all the people I've worked with as a shaman, seeing these mothers come in and that right shoulder is kind of slumped,
Hmm.
and and they're saying how much pain they're in with that. And And it's just exactly what you said.
Yes, all of this is an actual problem they're carrying. We, as curanderos and curanderas, have learned that whenever we see a physical problem happen with an individual, there has to be something on the mental level that is causing the problem. So we look at it, we ask our clients, do you have this problem or that problem? And yes, about 80% of the time people go, no, 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 there's nothing going on with my world. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, well, well, I've got this problem. And we talk about it and then we find cures for you, curas, cures. And then once you get the cures out of the way, then we figure out that the shoulder problem is the actual body physically telling you you got to take care of that situation that's going on with you. As curanderos and curanderas and shamans, we all understand that there is something of incurement on a spiritual base that needs to be taken care of. And that's why we do the work that we actually do. And this is a tradition that's been going on for thousands of years. It is nothing new.
Yes, and I want to ask that question a little more in detail. But before we do, I just want to tell the audience that if you have a question for Ricardo, and that could be even a health issue or just something you're curious about, join the chat and send us a message. Or even if
Mhm.
you just want to say hi, say hey, that's great too. Um, so let's go into the history a little bit deeper because you know when we think of the curandero, we think of its links with the Roman Catholic Church, but
Mhm.
also with Mexico, and it may have some links with Africa into voodoo, just teeny. But can you just kind of give some distinctions about all of what that is?
Uh, okay. Curanderismo, what we do is we add a bunch of different styles from different either spirits, religions, different parts of the world. And we actually put those traits into what we do. Yes, it was so funny when I was doing the studying about learning the historic part of actually being a curandero. I found out that about 70% of the people in this are tied to Catholicism, which I found very interesting and fascinating. And as I did more studies, as I saw in the Europe, the Latin countries, and also America, they embraced several of those traditions from religion and they placed them in curanderismo because we know very well that a healing oil, which is very Catholicism that comes through, and also Buddhas and people in that indigenous style use oils in order for them to actually heal an individual. As curanderos and curanderas, as we learned our trade, more and more we saw that as time progresses, those oils were very important for the curing of the human body, no matter whether it was a mental or emotional state. So we incorporated that and placed it into our craft. And then as time progresses, we develop more the skills of actually using the oils and what's the base for it. We learned like you can actually make a lavender oil. And the lavender, of course, everybody knows it's about de-stressing or actually calming yourself down. So when we were
Mm.
using either grapeseed oil or olive oil, and placed a tablespoon of dried lavender. Mixed it very well for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then rub it on the mind, on the body, or the soul, or maybe the hand, the foot, the leg. We knew that it was a calming situation. So I would have people come to me and they would have bad knees. So I would actually, of course, ask them the question, which knee's hurting? And then I would rub the oil that has the lavender in it, which actually calmed the nervous system of the body, but then it also helped me to work with the spiritual and mental of the situation and see what's really going on.
So in a situation like that, you might also be perceiving, that's the word I like to use, like feeling into that person and feeling another reality that that knee is connected to. And
Right. True. Now, the right knee means that you are resisting of moving forward. The left knee means that you're still holding on to the past.
hmm,
So if you have a right knee problem, There's a resistance there of moving forward. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you don't want to move forward, or maybe something in your life is making you fear to move forward. If your left knee hurts, that means you still have the resistance and you're holding on to something for your past that you refuse to let go.
Mm.
Now, the lavender oil that I described earlier, that will kind of smooth the pain of the knee, which then will smooth the nervous system or the mentality thinking of what your problem is and what's going on.
Even if it's something like an addiction, and that can be addiction to work or even to drugs or alcohol, but you know,
Correct.
the varieties are there. And that's often what is the hardest for people to let go of is like, I'm so intertwined with this um, repetitive behavior that I can never let go. I can never let go of sugar or bread or whatever this, you know, pattern is. And thus the body creates a pain as a reminder.
That's correct. That is so true. And that's what it actually is. So, us as curanderos and curanderas, we actually ask our clients, so tell me what's going on in your life. Why are you resistant? And of course, people go into the attack mode and they go into the resistance that they do not want to talk about it. But as time progresses, the more and more you heal them, the more you calm them down, the more they will tell you this is what my problem is. Because something that we learned in Curanderismo as being curious, we learned that about 90% of your problems are mental. So if you feel that you have a problem or situation, the mentality which get in the way. We also advise as curanderos that we are, or in this curanderismo, is something that is spiritual based, such as fear, anxiety, depression, madness, hurt, and even love can hurt.
Mm.
So people could see it in different ways and different modalities. Our work and our craft is to try to figure that out and help that individual to kind of break loose of what's going on, or maybe see what needs to take place, and or maybe really face them and put that mirror in front of their face and saying, "This is the problem. This is you."
It always
We
is
might need
us.
to do that. Yeah, it is us.
Darn.
I know exactly. Come on, people, come on. So as
Yeah.
curanderos, we kind of learn these traits and these ideas, and this is generational. It's been passed on from generation to generation of the traits and what to do and what not to do, how to do it, what needs to take place, and the list goes on and on and on. So this is
Yeah.
our job.
And for you, I would imagine it's like a constant reminder in your own personal work to keep confronting your own limitations and what you know you have developed in your own shortcomings and deflects of character, as we all have them. There's
Hmm.
nobody that gets off of this planet totally clean and scot free,
Uh-huh.
and that's really good to remember. But the more you're clear, it just you're almost like a channel of trust because your resistance
Correct.
is
Correct.
there.
Correct. And that's
Hey,
something.
Melinda.
Hey, and that's something that you have to learn as time progresses as you put things together. A curandero and curandero has been doing this for centuries. I think that this value or this type of healing has gone on for more than 1,000 years, and it was developed by farmers, people that in the middle of nowhere, and they couldn't get access to clean water, or they couldn't get access to a doctor, or maybe a medicine man or a medicine woman. So they had to come up with something that they can cure whatever the problem or situation is. And yes, many of these farmers had these big farms with a lot of herbs, and they had a lot of fruits and vegetables. And of course, they grew their own livestock. So they knew very well that they can use those natural products in order for them to heal somebody. And the craft continued as time progresses. Sometimes the farmer would learn this curanderismo very well, and it would get out in the neighborhood or in the areas and the regions that they live. So people will come for the cures or for the actual helping of whatever the situation is. So as time progresses, these developments took place, and people studied these people because they knew that, they knew something like thyme would actually heal sore throats. So as time progresses, they learn these traits, and these people came to these people to see how to take care of a sore throat.
Yeah.
Or maybe they knew very well the rubbing of lavender to with oil can actually cure some ailments or things in the way. One thing that we do in our school, and we have done it, is we teach a class on how to work with comfrey, which is an actual plant that takes pain away from the physical body.
So
So
you're talking about comfrey,
comfrey,
COMFREY. Okay.
yes, there's a way that you can actually develop that in order for you to create like an oil or a rub, something along that way. You can rub it on the part of the body that hurts, and within 15 to 20 minutes, it does take the pain away. So we
Wow.
teach those classes in order for us to actually help people to try to cure whatever needs to be done.
That plant grows naturally in my backyard.
Oh
I have a
well,
large backyard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
I
gonna have to
started it.
visit you,
I
Bart, and grab
start.
some.
Yeah, I know, and it's kind of like, well, I started it by having a comfrey plant, and now it's always popping up all over my yard in various times. But I
Good.
always thinking about it as a reminder, as you said earlier, we have to pay attention to the plants in our backyard because they may have something to offer to us.
Correct. That is true. And
And
see,
and
a
and so,
curandero and
so
curandera, we've learned to use those products.
yeah, so maybe also there's a message to me. All my pain has an answer.
Ah,
It's available to me to find that answer and solution. So,
that's true.
it's an attitude adjustment.
That's true. That's true. As curanderos, or curanderas, we have learned that 90% of the problem that people have is mental. It is not
Yes,
physical. The physical is your body yelling at you, saying you need to take care of the problem.
yes, and
Because
also
because
there's a
spiritually,
connection with the
remember,
earth.
yes, connection with the earth. Keep in mind, spirit will tell you, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But what do we do as humans? And we don't listen to
We
it.
do it anyway.
We do it anyway, right? So what happens then? Our physical body starts kind of yelling at you, saying, "Take care of it, take care of it." And if you don't take care of it, here we go with the body ache, the body pain, the backache, the leg ache, the arm ache, the hand ache, the headache, and the list goes on and on. It's because the physical body's saying you should have taken care of that. You
Yes,
know,
and so this is a great lesson for all of us too. Whenever we have pain, whenever we have these things that are discomfortable that keep coming back, we should be asking questions like, what is this trying to teach me? What is the pain warning me to? And should I have somebody that's going to help me on an emotional level with it?
correct, correct.
And
And that's why people run to shamans or curanderos to actually help them to figure that out and see what really the problem is.
indeed,
Yes,
indeed. And just to bring this up again, it feels like it's also a path that the earth has all of our answers, and that our connection to the earth is a part of the solution to our emotional problems.
that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That Mother Earth is such a valuable tool that we have. And Mother Earth really can help and take care of this. There was a study that I did many years ago when I was actually developing my craft and doing things that I'm doing. It was so funny here at the University of Texas in Galveston. They actually have people who have crossed over naturally. So they receive about 1,000 bodies per week. And what these scientists do and these future doctors, they actually open up these bodies. But they notice that these people who died of natural causes, they have tumors, they have heart attacks, they have back pains, they have issues. But yet, when you will look at their medical file, nothing. It was a clear bill of health. Now, that tells you right there that your physical body can take care of itself if you treat it the way that you need to treat it. So everybody in
Mm,
the study was actually scratching their heads is how can this person die of natural cause at the age of 98? But yet when they opened it up, they had the heart attacks, the tumors, the bad legs, the back pains. But nothing occurred in any of the medical records. That tells you right there that on a spiritual, emotional level, on a very natural level, You could take care of yourself, and Mother Earth takes care of you. We just don't listen. That's all that happens.
Mm,
We just don't listen. So I have
indeed.
learned now when my back goes out, I go, oh, okay, what's going on with me? What's taking place? What do I need to correct? What do I need to fix? You know,
So you're a teacher of Curanderism, and I know I don't say that right, of the Texas School of Curanderismo.
curanderismo. Huh?
So do you teach people to get in touch with the earth or get in touch with themselves as part of
Yes,
your
yes,
teachings?
yes. In our teachings in our school, what I have done is I've opened up this school because a lot of the next generation or newer generation want to learn something about curanderismo. It is a trait that we feel that is starting to lose track because the next generation really doesn't look at it that way. But we're also recognizing and noticing in the last 10 years, people are going back to the good traditional ways of doing things because they really do work. Taking, drinking thyme tea and mint tea and cinnamon really do work. So what I did is when I opened up my school, I thought that I had many of those modalities that were taught to me by my grandfather, and I have a lot of great mentors also. And I said, why don't I put a school together because people are asking for this information. So what I'm doing is I'm teaching natural ways of healing the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual body. So in the school, you learn different modalities that will help you to kind of ease some of those pains or cure that problem, or maybe look at things in a different way that you never thought you could. So this is really bringing that modality in order for you to actually come forward. In this
Mm,
school, we take you step by step. We teach you what we think that is right. We also look at the positive side of everything, but we have no problems in looking at the negative side of things. Because sometimes you have to dip on the negative side to see what's really holding you back, to see what's
indeed.
really in your way, to see why your shoulder still hurts after dealing with it for 3 to 4 years. We gotta take you there sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that fight that you got into back in 1989. You never let it go.
God.
Well, now you got to let it go. Okay, it's many years ago. You got to let it go.
Yeah, I'm always working on releasing all of these traumas I gathered in junior high myself. It's always the place I never want to go. But
Yes.
when I muscle test and ask, well, where does this trauma go back to? It's like 13 years old. It's like, oh God,
Yes, yes,
uh,
and yes,
back
and
again.
I've also noticed that a lot of people that I work with, a lot of clients that come through, it is something from their childhood, or it's something that they grew up from, or maybe they got into a fight with a sibling when they were 18 years old, and it's still lingering on,
Indeed.
and sometimes you got to let it go, but there's methodologies that can help you to get that and move on from that.
And yes, this is wonderful stuff. And today this is Bart Sharp with Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Radio, 107.7 and 105.3. And you can also see us on Roku, on cable television, that is, on the UPRN website, Facebook, YouTube, and other internet platforms. Or if you're in the New Orleans area, just plug us in on 107.7 or 105.3 and listen to our guest today, Ricardo Gonzales, psychic of over 35 years. Really, you're not 35, you're a little bit older than that. So he's been
Yeah,
a psychic all of his
a
life.
wee bit.
He's one of those types. But he's also the owner and president of the Texas School of Curanderismo out of
Curanderismo. Out
Austin,
of Austin, Texas.
Texas.
Yay, we got it.
You got it. And I just wanted to ask a curious question. What is vinegar and apple cider vinegar? Why is that such a special healing remedy? It seems to apply to so many things.
Yes,
So,
that's true. When that curement or that liquid was actually cured, it was really to take care of heartburn. That was the original behind it. But
Wow.
the people were finding out that whenever they would take that, dilute it in a glass of water, about 2 tablespoons of, it would actually take care of other problems or situations, such as soreness of muscles, digestive systems, heartburn. Sometimes it would also help with the liver, or maybe something of adjustment that you did. A lot of people have been having that for a very long time, and it also is great for your skin. So as time progresses, we learn that not only was it good for heartburn, but it can also cure some other things. Some people actually take it on a daily basis, and some people once a week. I always tell people that if you find something of natural in order for you to cure yourself in some way, measure your body. Some people can handle it once a week. Some people can handle it once a day. Some people
Yeah.
can handle it once every 4 days. You
Wow.
gotta find whatever your rhythm is in order for you to cure and take care of what needs to be taken care of.
And I was recommended when I had shingles,
Hmm.
they were starting to surround my trunk area. And of course, if shingles make the whole way around your body, you die. So that was a little bit of concern for me. And so I had, let's say, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar. And then I sprayed it on my body 5 times a day. So two oral, 5 topical. And my shingles started going away within 24 hours and were completely gone within a week. No medications needed. It's amazing stuff. And which brings me to another question. This is a
Okay.
very personal question.
Okay.
What do you have in your home that you find as valuable medicinal uh, products that you know aren't aren't prescription or aren't from the medical company?
Okay, no problems. There's two items that I have constantly in my home, and I really work with them in a lot of ways. And is yes, you can find it in the good old kitchen. One of them is honey. Honey is a very good curement for the actual body, especially those people who might be diabetic. Maybe they have digestive problems, or maybe they have an irritation of the actual stomach. Did you know that you can also dilute honey in warm water and you can rub it on a pain or a sore that you have on your body? It would actually cure it naturally. Now, one thing that I always tell people, whenever you find honey, make sure that it's local from whatever region that you live in or whatever part of the country you live in, because the local one actually has a lot of bases that really works with your body good. We all get adopted or adapted to the place that we live. And because where we live, if you pick up the honey that is local, it will work faster, quicker, and really cure you more faster than what you think. The second item that I have in my home and I have constantly of is cinnamon. I have it as a powder form and I also have it as stick. Did you know that if you are a business owner and you want to increase business, take a cinnamon stick and burn it in your home? That will increase the vibration of spirituality and positiveness, where more business will come to you. You can
Mm.
also boil cinnamon sticks within your home, and that will bring up an abundance type of situation in your home. All you have to do is get a pot or something along that way, put about 2 cups of water, bring it to a boil, stick about 2 sticks of cinnamon, and just let it simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes. That raises the vibration to your home. Another thing you can also do is take the cinnamon powder and go outside your front door and blow it in your home. What you're doing is you're bringing health, abundance, cash, positive people, positive environment just by doing that. You take and make
Mm.
sure you take it from your right hand, not the left. You want it to go forward. You don't want it to go backwards. Left is back, right is forward. So those are the top two things that I have in my kitchen. I can never go without them. I've had them
Wow.
for as far as I go, and they really do work very well.
Wow. Do people? That's great stuff.
Mhm.
And also just anybody in the audience that has questions for Ricardo, put them on the chat and get his advice. This is a wealth of information he offers.
Mhm.
If I wanted to, like, let's just say, we'll test the psychic or something. I don't know what you
Okay.
call it. Ask the coach. That's it.
Okay.
Uh, if I wanted to create a relationship out there with somebody that's positive, that I'm having problems with, or that I want a good relationship to go on that I don't know. Could you give me some advice on that with that? Because part of this is creating a positive vibration for something to come into your life as part of Curanderismo. Uh,
Yes.
so you're basically building the energetic spirit of you and your universe to have a certain intention.
Correct. Correct. Now, let me, since we're around the corner from Valentine's, one of the biggest things, and a lot of people come for me, is love. That's one very important thing that we all want. But let me tell you a key component that I've learned as being a psychic, being a curandero, and working with multiple of people that I do per day. And the number one thing that I tell to people, if you really want true love in your life, the first thing you have to do is create self love. Because if you want true love, if you want the right person to come into your life, if you don't have that self love, the right person will never come to you. Now, let me go a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more deeper. One of the things and key components of why people cannot find that love is because they're still hurting from a previous love. And that could have been somebody you fell in love with or had a mental crush when you were 10 years old. It could have been somebody that you met at 21. It could have been somebody that you have a big old heart that you carry at the age of 35. If you don't let go of those, the real person that needs to be in love will not come to you. So you really have to develop the self love and let go of that past love. Because without that, you will always struggle with your love. It will never come to par. Now, if you could get all that cured, and the way that we learned is there's a tea out there called love tea. You can find it in grocery stores, you can find it at health food stores, and it's called love tea. I've got a bunch of it here in my home. And what you do is you actually drink that tea for 7 days in a straight row. But while you're doing that, you're telling the universe on a mental, emotional level, I want love. But then you start describing the kind of love that you want. Do you want this person to be happy, content, lovable, sincere, faithful, trusting? So these are the thoughts you go through for 7 days in a straight row as you actually drink this love tea. If you cannot find it, then look for tea. It's called rose hip.
Hmm.
You can actually get rose hip and you could do the same kind of pattern. Once you complete all that, then there's something that I tell people, and it works 98% of the time. You take a piece of paper and with a black ink pen, you write down what type of person that you want and you put as detailed as you can. Do you want them to be faithful, curious, honest, funny, sincere, open minded, educated? You name all the characteristics you want to be individual and be honest with yourself. Then, once you do that, you fold the paper towards you because you want it to come to you and you place it in a Bible. Yes, if you don't have one, go get one. There you can find them all over the place and place it in your bookshelf at your home once you complete that and leave it alone. And what happens within 60 to 90 days, that person will come into your life without you even
Wow.
trying because you ordered it by the universe. But the number one key component that I have with a lot of people that comes to me that they want love, I said, if you don't develop that self love, you will never get the right person in your life. You could try and try again, and you could think and you could do everything in your power to bring a person in. But if you don't have that self love, that person will never come into your life permanently. And
Wow.
remember, people, one thing that you got to keep in mind, and a lot of people are losing this track. If you date, is to marry. Keep that in mind. And a lot of people date like crazy, but they don't go beyond what needs to happen. But the reason for dating is to get married. So these are some of the great things that can have by a curandero is telling you that these are some of the things that work. In the 36 years that I've been doing this work, I have told these people these secrets of really finding true love. And about 90% of people come back to me with wedding invitations to some great weddings that I see out there because they saw what their value was, they saw their mistakes, they saw what they needed to do. And once they corrected it all, they got the true love of their life to come in. And they're
Mhm.
now living happily ever after.
And that's such a wonderful story. And the point being is that this is a manifestation for a deep love. And I wanted to ask you, well, why do you put it in a Bible? But now the answer is quite obvious that that matrimony is in the same value system as what the Bible teaches.
Correct. Correct. And if you want that person to come into your life by placing in the Bible, it's spiritual based. It is
Mm.
God sent. It is Mother Mary. It is any deity that you believe in. Because you're telling them, can you help me so you could get that person into my life by doing so? And then
Indeed.
they start taking the spiritual adventure and spiritual case so they can take care of it for you. And I promise you, I've had a lot of clients to me, and about 98% of the time, they all come back to me and say, oh my God, they're exactly the way that I want. They're doing exactly what's happening. And here's a wedding invitation. You're going to a wedding this summer. And I'm like, okay, I guess I am. But it
Yeah.
really does work. It really, really does work. And I've seen this happen over and over again. And people are very satisfied and happy with the situation. So if
Mm.
you're ready, now one thing you have to add in this equation, are you ready? A lot of people say that, yeah, I want love in my life. But I always ask them, are you ready? Because once you
Mm.
ask for the right person that you want, you got to go full force. You cannot go back. You cannot tell yourself, well, maybe in May, or maybe next year, or maybe when I lose 20 pounds, No. Once you get that magic going, it goes.
Yeah,
Okay?
so it goes back to some of the things you've been really saying is be clear in what you want. And if you're not clear in who you are and what you want to be creating in your life, you're going to create obstacles.
Correct.
And also, your self love is the impetus of all your power.
Correct. Correct. And I promise you, and you're very right, Bart. In the lessons that I've learned, the things that I teach, if you don't have that internal self love, you will not get everything that you want. When you put that
Mm,
self love within your life, you get everything that you think and manifest, and every abundance, and the right person will come into your life, and you will do the right job and live in the right home and eat the right foods. If you don't give yourself that self love, you're not going to have any of that. Yes, people
yeah.
try and try again. And I see them try and fail and try and fail and try and fail. And they come to me and they go, well, why? I don't get it. I said, well, what do you think about yourself? And they look at me puzzled and they look at me like, what? What do you mean by that? What do you think about yourself? And they're puzzled when I ask them that. You know, if you don't put that self-love and that truism in you, and you really don't have that, I don't have that fear that love life is going to come in, or that I can make $1 million, or I could go buy my 5-bedroom house or drive that fancy car. If you don't have that self-love, none of that is going to be well worth it. None of that.
So true. And as you mentioned before, with the white candle bringing in spirit, when you hold that candle and you're making the invitation for spirit to come in, you're actually connecting your own love to that candle.
Correct,
It's
correct,
part of the magic.
correct. Spirit's working with you through the candle. Spirit, because the way that it connects, you have the flicker of the flame. Now, if you think of a giant triangle that goes from the top and it shoots up, the point of that triangle goes into the universe. So when you work with the candle, the triangle goes out, works. The point of that triangle is shoots into the universe, and what you ask for in heart and mind and body and soul goes into the candle, and the candle goes and uses and asks the universe, "This is what you want," and then they start relaying and doing what needs to happen for you to make it happen.
Indeed.
Hmm.
I did this with somebody that I truly loved, and I think you met her a long time ago. We're not telling our age in this one. And we were having a conflict, and I think she was considering on breaking up with me, and I wasn't ready for that. So I did light a candle, but I just felt all the love I had for her and all the love that I generated in that union. And I lit that candle and said, you know, please help me. Can we connect and create faith with this? Because this wasn't something I could outthink. It wasn't about sending her flowers or apology. I had to give her time to consider the situation.
That's true.
And the candle was my power to pull that together. And yeah, we stayed together.
Yep. And see, if you act, and one thing that I've learned in being a curandero, if you allow spirit to do its job, spirit will do it for you. If you
Wow.
allow spirit to do its job, spirit will do it for you. But we don't. We're control freaks. We have to hold on to the process.
Yeah.
We have to beg and say, "Why me, Lord? Why me?" You know. But
Yeah, it goes back to you got to be clear on what you want, but also be clear in who you are. And a part of that clarity is I'm really sad or I'm really angry or I'm very afraid. Uh, Understand that about yourself
Oh yeah, oh
and
yeah. Make
begin
sure
that
you do.
process.
Yes.
So, is there anything that people who are really angry,
Okay.
is there anything that that they could do? Uh, could you give that any advice?
Sure. Let's go with the anger. Okay.
Great.
This is the understanding in curanderismo trade of what anger is. Anger is negative thinking about yourself. So it's right, really, you're angry. You're not angry at the person you're screaming and yelling at. You're angry at yourself. So what you're doing is you're portraying that anger onto the person or the situation because you're trying to control the situation. That's what you're trying to do. Anger is fear. Anger is telling yourself, I'm not worth it. Anger is really the negative thinking that you have of you. When you scream and yell at the person and you're so angry at the person, you're not angry at them. You're angry because they pointed out your weaknesses. And you don't want to be faced with your weaknesses. Am I right?
Hmm.
And that's why you're angry. You're not angry at the person. In reality, the person you're hooping and hollering with and screaming and yelling, they really don't care. You know, they're like looking at you like, why are you acting that way? What's the problem? And in reality, it's like you're screaming that emotion out because you finally got confronted that you are weak and you are wrong and you are not doing everything right. And it's hard to really look at yourself and identify that. It really, really, really is very hard. Now, let me give you a little quick thing that I've learned in curanderismo, and it really does work real well. And people think that I'm crazy when I tell them this, but it really works. Take a glass of ice water, 1 glass of ice water, and drink it while you're angry. That will calm you down.
Wow.
That will calm you down. And remember, you're not mad at the person that you're mad at. You're mad at yourself because you finally encountered what your weakness is and what is really causing you problems. Sometimes when people get angry, you're not angry at the person that you're screaming and yelling at. You're angry because this happened to you at the age of 16, 21,
Mm.
maybe 25, and you're starting to be reminded that you're that type of person. And
Well,
you don't want to face that.
It makes perfect sense to drink the water as you talk about it from the shamanistic perspective, is that so much of the anger is held in the gut. And
Hmm.
when you're angry about one thing, usually five other things from your past are triggered and stimulated and contributing to the anger in the situation. And all of that's happening in your gut. It
Hmm.
stimulates your body. It goes into your thought forms, and they're just not shutting up because
Correct.
it's triggered by all of this repressed stuff as well as present day. So drinking the cold water just kind of quells a lot of those, all of the heat of the triggered past,
Right.
so to
Exactly.
speak.
Yes, like if you get triggered by the past, this person you're screaming and yelling at or getting angry at, it's not their fault. It's something that you have not healed within yourself. You have not
Indeed.
taken care of that problem and situation, and you have to sit and think: did it happen yesterday, last year, maybe 10 years, maybe 25 years ago, and you haven't healed from that situation. So once you heal from that situation, the next time that comes up again, then if you're real quiet about it, you've been healed. If you're
Mhm.
not, you have not been healed. And
Yes.
sometimes that situation comes in front of you five, six, seven, eight, maybe 10 times because you haven't taken care of the problem. You need to start taking care of whatever that's angering you. And all you're doing is you're contributing and you're taking it out on the person that is in front of you because they reminded you of something that hurt you many years ago, and you
Yes.
can't let it go.
And the way you speak about this is such allowance. You're not making any of the anger or the person wrong.
Mm-mm.
It's more like, no, the energy's there, and
Hmm.
let's encounter that away.
Exactly,
And
exactly,
we can use different tonics and herbs to help you calm that so you can actually do your own emotional work.
exactly, exactly. And a lot of times people do have to have that emotional work. Like, I had a gentleman that came to visit me maybe about 3 months ago, and every time, and this is so silly, but to him it was a serious situation. Every time the subject of a pizza would come up, he would get angry over pizza. And people were going like, "What is wrong with you?" Well, what happened is at the age of 18, he wanted pizza for dinner. And his father said, "No, we're not going to have pizza." So they got into a massive fight over that situation. Well, of course, time progressed. He let it go. But now the subject of pizza comes up. So it really angers him because he never dealt with his dad on that situation that happened when he was young. And he
Yeah,
still had that alive within himself. And that's why he couldn't let it go. So until he can heal from that, a pizza will not be a problem anymore.
yeah,
But also at the same time, it was a part of his life with his father, with his situation that he needed to take care of. And he
yeah,
needs to make that work.
yeah, and hopefully that'll return back to love and with his father, and maybe he'll enjoy a pizza again.
True.
What's something you're missing? Um, so we're coming close to the end,
Oh,
and I want you to just think about some advice you would give people from a Curanderismo perspective.
sure. Okay.
And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to just let everybody know that you are on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 107.7 and 105.3 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans. We are broadcasting out of there, but also on the UPRN uh, network website, and you can always catch us there. But more importantly, you can catch us on Roku, on cable television, Facebook, YouTube, and various other ways, internet platforms. And my name is Bart Sharp, and this is Becoming Quantum Conscious. And next week, we have a really interesting show with Gretchen Cornwall, and she is the author of The Secret Dossier of a Knight Templar of the Sangreal, which basically means this Templar is giving away, or she's found the records of a Templar, and she's explaining the Templar's perspective uh, of this spiritual holy life that they lived. I've been reading this book and it's quite fascinating. So we're going to go right into that. But our guest today is Ricardo Gonzales, and he is the owner and president of the Texas School of Curanderismo. And you can find Ricardo at findingyourlifepath.com. And that's findingyourlifepath.com, uh, out of the Texas School of Curanderismo. So, Ricardo, what advice do you give all of our listeners today?
Sure. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much, Bart, for this opportunity. And I really did enjoy this. This is a
Oh, it's
thousand year
been a
old.
hoot.
It has. It's a 1,000 year old practice, and it's been around. And I've been teaching people, and you really can get some good things. One thing that I do want to leave your audience and yourself is to make you aware that you can heal yourself. You can take care of your problems. You can correct a lot of things that are going on with your life. It is possible. It can happen. The thing is, you have to find ways to do it on a natural basis. We are given all the tools from Mother Earth to Mother Sky to all those of how to take care and cure yourself. In Curanderismo, we teach people on how to do that, to actually use the natural products that can help you on a mind, on the body, and a soul level. So the last thing that I really want to leave your audience and you, Bart, is keep in mind that everything is curable. You just got to find a way and actually to do that. And don't give up on yourself. I promise you, everybody has a situation or idea or thought or something they have gotten into. They just don't know how to get out of it. But me,
Mm,
as a healer that I am, and Bart being a shaman, we know modalities that can help you in some level, in some way. So keep that
indeed.
in mind. Everything is curable, whatever it is.
Even if you have cancer and you're seeing a doctor for cancer treatment, you go to a curandero for your emotional connections and work at that level as well, because you're completing that whole part, because the cancer was not created just out of the blue.
Correct.
It
Correct.
was the futility that some emotional situation or turmoil in your side of yourself could not be resolved. Therefore,
Correct.
cancer became.
That's true. That's true. And we in Curanderismo, we learn how to deal with those types of situations and what's going on.
Yes.
And we know that it is a mental based challenge. Why do people who have cancer survive and they're 100% clear and everything's great? And why do people go into death because of the cancer they have? It's because of the mentality and how you hold on to it. And that's what really actually is going to help you in some way. There is methodologies, there's emotional ways to take care of it and deal with it so you can actually get yourself cured. Yes, there is a way, there is a concept. You just got to have faith and believe in it and really get yourself out of that negative mentality to a positive mentality, and you will survive. There's many a people with cancer surviving every day. You just got to
Indeed.
find that tool and that skill.
Well, thank you so much, Ricardo, for being on the show. President of the Texas School of Curanderismo out of Austin, Texas. And you can
Yes,
get in touch with Ricardo at findingyourlifepath.com. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
sure. No problems at all, Bart. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great day.
All right.
Remember, stay positive, everybody. Bye.
Yes, we'll see y'all next week with Gretchen Cornwall. Bye bye.
Bye, y'all.